Hi, I'm Josh, a co-founder of Woodland Mills, and this is our full-length product video of the WG28 PTO-driven stump grinder. In these full-length videos, we'll start by looking at tractor compatibility. Then I'll go into a full in-depth product walk-around to show you all the features that make up the WG28. From there, we'll look at the shipping crate, both weight, dimensions. We'll touch on the delivery process as well as assembly before hooking this up to a tractor and showing you how to put it to work, getting rid of those unwanted stumps. For compatibility, the WG28 was designed to work with tractors having between 35 and 80 PTO horsepower. Because of that wide range, we've included both Category 1 and Category 2 hitch holes and pins to make that connection to the 3-point hitch of your tractor. We include a heavy-duty 7 Series PTO shaft that's protected by a twin disc slip clutch. Now the slip clutch is there to protect both your tractor and the grinder during use. And in the event of an overload, the clutch simply slips, indicating to you it's time to slow down, let your tractor or the grinder recover in speed, and then resume grinding. The alternative to a slip clutch would have been a shear pin. In the event of an overload, you're going to have to replace that shear pin before you can resume grinding. This PTO shaft is both telescopic and trimmable in length to connect it to the tractor. It also has multiple grease fittings for maintenance. Next, I want to talk about the heart of a stump grinder, and that's its flywheel. We use a 28-inch diameter, 1-inch thick, solid steel plate. It weighs in at over 175 pounds before it's CNC machined with its various holes and pockets to hold the teeth. As well, we weld in inserts to hold those teeth at angles. We have 44 teeth in total on this flywheel. Those teeth are both sharpenable and replaceable to account for wear. The flywheel is dynamically balanced to ensure that it runs true and smooth during use before it's mounted on the 3-inch main shaft that carries that flywheel within the grinder. That 3-inch main shaft is mounted on 4-bolt flange bearings, both here at the front where it's tucked up inside for protection, and then again here on the rear where it's exposed for maintenance. Both those flange bearings have a Zerk fitting to be greased for maintenance. And then the end of that 3-inch shaft is machined down to that 6-spline connector that connects to the PTO. The flywheel housing is a big contributor to the product weight at over 675 pounds. And that's because we use 3/8 thick steel plate both front and back, seamlessly welded to give it both rigidity and strength to hold the bearings and the flywheel. Here on the side, we have a chip deflector, which keeps the debris and the chips contained and pointed back down toward the ground. And on top, we have the chainsaw holder, which is going to allow you to take your chainsaw out to where you need it in the field and forest. Next, I want to talk about the back frame. And again, because of the high horsepower range we're working with here, this component really does have to be heavy duty. And for that, you'll see our 5/8 thick plate, our 3/8 thick plate. Again, you'll see seamlessly welded to get the rigidity in this back frame. And we've also passed these plates through and connected them at the rear for a true unibody style where we can bring that tractor's horsepower into the grinder. For the connection point between the back frame and the flywheel housing, we'll use a pivot. Now this is a large diameter pin that has a Zerk fitting on both sides for maintenance. Because this is a pivoting assembly now, we use a stabilizer pin for when it's in storage and not in use, and that keeps the back frame parallel with the flywheel housing. When in use, that pin is removed and allows the flywheel housing to rotate out and help mitigate the impact while grinding those stumps. Supporting the back frame are two support legs, and these have an in storage position as well as an in use position where the leg slides up inside and the pin gets reinstalled, keeping it out of the way so you can grind up to 8 inches below grade. On the top here, you'll see our manual tube. And in here is where we're going to find the hardware for the assembly process, as well as the manual walking us through that process. The assembly will take approximately an hour with common hand tools, and it consists of installing the chainsaw holder, the chip deflector, as well as the PTO shaft before connecting it to your tractor. Also covered in this manual is going to be the safe use and operation, as well as the maintenance, procedure, and intervals. The WG28 weighs in at over 675 pounds, and because of its size and weight, we ship it in a steel crate. That steel crate brings the total shipping weight up to 800 pounds. And because of its size and weight, it's going to be shipped by transport truck with a power tailgate service where available to get it down to the ground for a curbside delivery. Now that I've completed the walk around, it's time to get this hooked up to a tractor and really put it to work. I'd like to end this video with a bit of a recap. First, I've got it hooked up to the Kubota L6060. This is a 63 engine horsepower and about 53 PTO horsepower tractor. You'll see with that, I was able to do a wide variety of stumps. So we had a large maple stump from a blowdown tree that I got cleared away next to the creek. I also had a land clearing project on my farm where I had lots of smaller stumps. We had Scotch pine, white birch, poplar, and a lot of those small stumps I was able to do with just one pass, and some of the larger ones might be a 2 or 3 pass procedure. I was hoping to show you the versatility of the WG28. This has been Josh with Woodland Mills. Thank you so much for watching. For more information, please check out our website or give us a call.